This box is enough to hold my data for the next couple of years. Well, figuratively at least, it's what's inside the box that will be holding my data, not the actual cardboard box itself. Still kind of cool to think about. So in case you're wondering what's inside this box, well, there are a few things. We're actually gonna start off with the good stuff. This here is a Synology DS1520 Plus. It is the actual NAS itself. And we've got two enterprise-grade SSDs. These will be used as the cache for the NAS. And finally, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enterprise-grade 8 terabyte hard drives from Synology. So we've got quite a bit to unpack. Now, all this was actually very kindly sent over by Synology. I've actually been using their DS1019 Plus NAS since early 2020, and just a few months ago, they reached out and offered to upgrade my NAS to this incredible setup. So truly a huge thank you to the people over at Synology for hooking me up with all this. And I'm really, really happy about it because as far as network attached storage solutions go, Synology is one of the most trusted brands out there. They are the go-to brand, and I'm extremely confident that all this is going to serve me very well for years to come. So let's first get the NAS out of its packaging, because this is where everything is going to be put into. Power cable, accessory box. It's the power adapter and networking cable. Just out of curiosity, this is a Cat 5e cable. You get 2 Cat 5e cables. Sweet. The main event. Ooh, it's got quite a bit of weight to it. Okay. Tip this over. And if all goes well, there we go. Oh, look at that. So this actually, if you just look at its exterior, it looks very similar to the DS1019 Plus that I've been using, but it actually comes with some pretty significant upgrades despite looking so similar. It's got faster CPU, better RAM, which means better responsiveness, and higher performance ceiling, especially when you have multiple people accessing the NAS and running tasks at the same time. And on the back, it's got 1 extra eSATA port compared to the DS1019 Plus, and this has 4 LAN ports instead of just 2 on my previous NAS. So I'll explain why these are important in just a second, and we'll move on to unbox the SSDs because I will want to put them inside the NAS. So you can see this is the base of the NAS, and it's got these 2 toolless doors for your NVMe M.2 SSDs. Here we go. There it is. Now, despite having 2 400GB SSDs, it's not actually going to give you 800GB of cache space, because from my understanding, if you only put in 1 SSD, it would work, but as a read-only cache, you won't be able to write data to it. To be able to write data to it, you would need 2 SSDs, then it would be a read-write cache, and both the SSDs would be set up in a RAID 1 configuration. So at least there is some amount of redundancy when you have any writing tasks involved. Now, these are Synology's very own SSDs, which means they were purpose-built for Synology NAS systems. And that basically guarantees compatibility when you use them for their very intended purpose. And also being enterprise-grade SSDs also means that they've been designed with durability in mind, especially in a NAS environment. These have a durability rating of 988 terabytes written each. So let's go ahead and put these in, one at a time, obviously. Just gonna set this down here, line those pins up, and it should just click in place. And let's do the other one. I really like how this is completely toolless. That's 2 SSDs bagged and ready to go. And now let's put it back onto its feet, and here we have 5 hard drives to unbox and put into each of these 5 bays. So let's get to work. These are really well packaged, I'll give you that. I think the last time I've seen this many hard drives was at a computer store. There, 5 hard drives. And I'll have this cleaned up later. 1 down, 4 more to go. And here's the last one. Now, just like the SSDs, these are Synology's own enterprise-grade hard drives. In addition to the typical durability advantages of an enterprise-grade hard drive, these have been optimized by Synology for use in their very own NAS systems. So supposedly, when you use these Synology hard drives inside a Synology NAS, they should have a slight performance advantage. They're officially claiming higher sequential read speeds, but aside from that, the operating system of the NAS is also going to constantly keep the firmware of the hard drives continuously up to date, which again ensures maximum compatibility and interoperability. So let's get this last one in, and in you go. So let's, oof, that's really heavy. Plugging in the power, and let's power this on. Wrong side. It's alive. Right, so this LAN cable, just beeped, runs straight from my router. I'm gonna plug it in the back so we can set it up from a browser, which is actually nowhere near as complicated as setting up a NAS sounds like. You literally just go to find.synology.com, which will scan your network for a Synology NAS, after which you just follow the on-screen instructions and you should be in this station manager in no time. I'm running the latest version of the operating system, DSM7, and just visually alone, it's already a huge refresh over the previous version. The more powerful CPU and RAM might not be instantly noticeable, but any increase in performance is always a welcome addition. It does a great job at hosting services like Synology Photos. The responsiveness is excellent, be it on the browser or on the mobile app. I also shoot a ton of 4K video, so I do burn through my storage quite rapidly. That's why it is a tremendous deal to me that the DS1520 Plus has got even more expandability compared to its predecessor. Having 2 eSATA expansion ports instead of just 1 means the total number of drives possible with this would be 15. 5 in the main unit and 10 more in the form of 2 DX517 expansion units. This is very future-proof. The DS1520 Plus also has 4 Ethernet ports, which is twice as many as the DS1019 Plus. Now, this many ports is useful for something called link aggregation. It's essentially connecting all of the ports to your router and combining their speeds, which on the 1520 Plus can give you a bandwidth of just over 450 megabytes per second. However, that doesn't necessarily mean your file transfers are going to start quadrupling in speed. That's because unless you're running 10 gigabit hardware, most our Ethernet ports max out at 1 gigabit, which is about 125 megabytes per second. So what difference does it make then? Well, if you've got multiple users reading and writing to the NAS at top speed, that would exceed that 1 gigabit bandwidth between your NAS and the router. This is when this extra bandwidth becomes necessary. So at the end of the day, it's an even smaller little black box that will be storing all my data. Stay tuned for more content about this, especially on how this fits into a content creator's workflow. Till then, I'll be seeing you in one of my other videos.